10, 9.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Get ready for two guys who can't handle the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But we can. Dave Palumbo, Chris Aceto. RxMuscle.com presents Heavy Muscle Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Heavy Muscle Radio. I'm Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined, as always, by the technician, Chris Aceto, on this October 29th, 2018 evening. And Chris, not a lot going on in the bodybuilding world, but enough to excite us. A lot of dialogue going on. We have a bunch of stories to cover today. I guess this can be considered our Halloween show, right? And since no one can really see us, I could tell people I'm in the wildest of costumes, and people would just have to suspend disbelief and believe me.
It snowed in Maine today.
It did? Really? Now I bet you wish you were living in Florida.
I knew you were going to say that, and you're right. It snowed for about an hour.
It was cold today. It was 70 degrees.
Oh gosh, freezing.
We went to this big pumpkin thing they had going on at the so what is it called? Splash, some water park here, which is closed now. It's funny, in Florida they close shit in the winter, but they could keep it open year round because it's warm. They close it, right? And so they had a big pumpkin fest, and I took Logan there, and they had kids love fire engines. They had a fire engine that he can go inside, and
bell and the.
Yeah, they were all the guys were showing them all the stuff. They had a SWAT team there. The SWAT team, they were putting the SWAT vest on my son, and he was loving it. We try to keep him away from the machine guns, though. We don't need him with all the shootings and it's just out there in the crazy fucking world we live in. I don't need him getting into guns or anything like that.
Well, guns are okay because he's okay with the gun. It's guns don't kill anyone. That's what they say, right?
People kill, right? Yeah, but. No. I'm not against guns. I don't want my son. I hear these tragic stories of these kids playing with their father's guns, or somehow they're getting into the gun closet or whatever they have, and just killing themselves. It's very scary. Everything is scary actually with your kids because you can't control everything, obviously. But
of course,
well, you heard about the nutcase who went into the temple there in Pittsburgh and. What did he kill? 11 people, yelling, "Kill the Jews! Kill the Jews!"
It wasn't. He was. You know what?
Can you imagine if he went in there saying, "Kill the blacks," with the racial war that would have ensued after that?
Well, I mean, it's a minority group, regardless.
No, I know, but it's like I don't know. It's just different. It's when you kill the Jews, it's like terrorism. When you kill the blacks, it's like a racial war. It's different. But we have so many fucking nuts in this fucking world that I don't even know where they come from. I don't even know where these people come up with these cockamamie, things. It's not like the guy was like a jihad guy. He was just like a red-blooded nutcase in this. He was. I don't know.
Well, dude, look at how many. There was that. You had that this week. You had. The hierarchy of the Democratic Party, including two former presidents receiving pipe bombs. I mean, that's unprecedented.
Yeah, even George Soros received a pipe bomb from that nut. What was his name? I got it right here. The Mad Bomber, they're calling him, Caesar Sayoc.
Yeah, he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, it's funny. The guy sent pipe bombs to people, right? And all they could talk about is that he was a bodybuilder. And the guy is like 60, so or in his late 50s. He certainly wasn't any good bodybuilder, It wasn't like Ronnie Coleman sent the fucking pipe bombs. Imagine if Ronnie Coleman did it because he was eight-time Olympian. He's pissed off that he can't walk right, and we'll get to that a little later. And he's sending pipe bombs. That's a story. Yeah, Mr. Olympia sends pipe bombs. This guy is a fucking loser. He's a 56-year-old fucking Florida guy who probably can't bench press 200 pounds. He thinks he's a bodybuilder. He might like bodybuilding. He probably now they're trying to blame steroids. Well, he had a steroid rage attack. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'm sure he did.
Latent.
Steroids. Rage attack is something you do spontaneously. It's not something you plan for months and years in advance. Sending out pipe bombs. Every once in a while, we get one of these lunatics. The mail. Likes to use the mail system. The worst thing you can do is the mail. because then you got federal government involved.
Well, the option is to be like you had that. You had the Vegas shooting.
Yeah, but when you send pipe bombs, it's like you're probably not going to get killed, in a shootout or something like that. They come in and they arrest you, and then they put you in jail for the rest of your life. When you go into a synagogue and you shoot 11 people, you might get shot on the way out. It's possible.
How?
Who knows? Someone's might have a gun, pull it out, and shoot you.
You have the Parkland shooting. I mean, think of the nuttiness, right? The high school shooting down in Fort Lauderdale area.
I love how the New York Post writes. Let me just read. This is funny about the guy, the bomber. The bombing is not funny, but the guy who did it is funny. Cesar Savic, the suspected mad bomber and registered Republican, they had to throw that in there, right? Who sent possible explosive devices to Democratic leaders, repeatedly attended campaign rallies for Donald Trump. So now they're saying, well, he's a lunatic and he's a Trump supporter. So that of course, Oh my God! He once threatened to blow up a Florida utility company and make it worse than 9/11. All right, right then and there, don't you think they should have fucking thrown this guy in jail so that we didn't have to deal with him anymore?
Well,
he's been arrested at least 8 times, including for steroid possession.
I wonder what he had for first.
Yeah, I'd love to know what he had. Yeah, and throwing or placing an explosive device. Record show. So he's already been arrested for an explosive device. Isn't that enough to lock this fucking guy in an insane asylum? Because if you try to blow something up once, you're probably going to do it again, don't you think?
Yeah, it's nice to say put him in an insane asylum, but there's for every person like him walking around, there's
No, but he blew something up, Chris. It wasn't like he just threatened. He actually blew something up and got arrested.
He did.
For it.
What did he blow up? What did he blow up?
I don't know. They said he placed an explosive device someplace. That was one of the charges. Now listen, here's the part where I understand now why they're blaming bodybuilding. When he filed for bankruptcy in 2012, he'd been living with his mother still. He was in his 50s. He was living with his mother. Now that definitely matches up with the bodybuilding profile, right? The 56-year-old Florida man who also used surnames Altieri, Milan, and Randazzo took to social media like a fish to water, posting repeatedly on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. He drove a white panel. Jimmy DePaul says anyone who drives white paneled, white paneled, whatchamacallit, minivans or not minivans, white panel vans is a lunatic.
Yeah.
He drove a white panel van festooned with pro-Trump and slogans like CNN sucks. Oh my God. He's always had a diminished capacity in dealing with society, a difficulty conforming or carrying on substantial tasks without supervision. This is very surprising, said Ronald Lowry, a criminal lawyer who had represented him.
Well, if he was had a PhD or something, would just say he snapped.
Right.
The other end of the spectrum. I mean, he could lived a perfect life with a white picket fence and 3 kids, and right, would just be saying, well, he snapped.
Jeez, this is funny. What a fucking lunatic. He was single with no dependents. Imagine that. His only asset was a 2001 Chevy Tahoe with 285,000 miles on it. It was only 10 years old, the car.
Well, my car is 25 years old, so.
Yeah, and it has half the mileage that's probably on it. Trying to think, see what else he wrote here. It's interesting. He posted anti-Muslim propaganda, including an ad for a documentary called Homegrown Jihad by an organization called the Christian Action Network. In one bizarre Twitter rant, he writes, quote, "You biggest piece of crap media, TMZ, that were completely silent. Obama separating kids." I don't know what that means. Here's his arrest record. In 2015, he was busted in West Palm Beach for shoplifting at a Walmart. he grabbed a rolling briefcase and a luggage bag worth $58 and tried to get out. He got caught. Then in 2014, he was nabbed for shoplifting in Miami-Dade County. I think he stole my laptop. I think he was the guy who actually stole my laptop. They got the wrong person. 2013, handcuffed for shoplifting and battery at J.C. Penney's, Coral Springs, Florida. Oh my God. 2009, arrested for criminal traffic violation for driving without a license. 2004, pinched twice for possession and sale of steroids. He was sentenced to 18 months probation, so he didn't even get any time for that. 2002, convicted of threatening to blow up Florida Power and Light facility. 1994, accused of domestic abuse by a spouse. 92, collared in Miami for shoplifting. 91, convicted of grand theft. What a nut! What a nutball! What a nutball! We got a lot of dangerous people out there, Chris. These are only the guys that get caught. What about the people who don't get caught? Doesn't it? It's kind of scary.
Well, I mean, there's lots of scary things to the story, right?
Yeah. What a nutcase. Of course, bodybuilding has to be drawn into it. He was a bodybuilder, and every bodybuilder out there was getting texts all day long saying, "I think I know this guy. He's married to so and so," and I'm like, "No, he's not. No one knows this nutcase. He's not in the bodybuilding world. He's just claims that he lays claim to being a bodybuilder. You know, he's not a bodybuilder." Anyway, one of the this past week we had some good stuff going on RxMuscle. We interviewed Jay Cutler. Finally. You know, it's funny because before the Olympia, Jay said to me, I was trying to get him on the show. I was actually trying to get him to go to your hotel room to do an interview with us. And he's like, there's nothing to talk about. Phil wins number 8. There you go. There's my quote. So, obviously, Phil didn't win number 8. So I said, Jay, I guess we got a lot more to talk about than you thought, huh? He's like, yeah. So we talked a little bit about Phil. And you know, Jay's very politically correct the way he answers all his questions. So he said, you know, he gave the old, Phil can come back and get the title back. I did, judges, gave him a warning last year. He didn't, he came back worse. And, that's exactly what happened. And he didn't, and that's why he lost the title, and he said the same thing happened to him. So, although he tore that bicep also. He had the torn bicep. Yeah. Jay actually asked me, I believe it was off the air. I don't know if he asked me this on the interview or after the interview. He wants me to get Ronnie Coleman on the show, and he wants to go on the show with Ronnie and do like a dual interview. Yeah, that would be a great show.
That'd be tremendous.
Because Ronnie just announced that that he'll never walk again. So, and I think that I saw a bunch of moronic fucking people doing doing videos on YouTube, trying to blame steroids on Ronnie not being able to walk again, how he crippled himself because of steroids. Oh, it made him too strong, and then he lifted heavy weights that he shouldn't have been lifting. They're blaming him for so I did this defense video of him. I was like, basically, you guys are fucking assholes, and you're fucking disrespectful. He's an 8-time champion. He put his body on the line so that he could be the greatest out there. You guys should only be have as much motivation to do that. Because most people would give anything to be Mr. Olympia. But they're not willing to do the fucking work. They just want to talk about what they're willing to do. And Ronnie put it up there. And you know what? Ronnie could have hurt himself. He probably wasn't even doing heavyweight when he hurt himself. As a matter of fact, I think he told me that. He wasn't even squatting that heavy. He just moved the wrong way or something like that. Or just relaxed for a second and popped something in his back. And, one thing leads to another. That's the problem. But the people are like saying, oh, Ronnie caused his own problems because he didn't listen to the doctors after the surgery. He went back to lifting heavy too fast. Ronnie fucking broke a screw in his back the day of surgery. After the surgery was over, they moved him, turned him over in his bed, and the screw broke. Well, I don't know what people are fucking talking about. They're fucking idiots.
Well, maybe it's disc related, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you know that people who have had slip discs from anything from slipping on the ice to squatting to, I mean, there's a million reasons why people slip a disc. Of course, heavy training had something to do with it. But
everyone trains heavy, Chris. And maybe not as strong as him.
That was my point. Yeah. Is that a lot of people train balls to the walls and heavy and have no injuries. I mean, Jay had no injuries until he tore the bicep. Really.
Yeah, you're right. I
mean,
my shoulders wore out, but that I never got an injury in the gym that was like debilitating. But what happened to me was I slipped on a staircase fucking after I stopped competing in 2012, and that's been a nail in my fucking head for the last 6 years because it's still not fixed, and I don't know if it'll ever be fixed. But I didn't do it in the gym. Can't blame that. Matter of fact, speaking of the guy who tried to fix my leg, he Dr. Scaglione, this surgeon's name is. I was watching the Long Island Medium. You ever seen the show?
Sure.
Now, she's from Long Island, obviously, and it's weird that I never bumped into her because we run in the same circles and I know a lot of the same people. So she tears her ACL on one of the newest episodes, and she's going to the doctor and get surgery, and it's my surgeon. It's the same surgeon. Man, it's like we've been to that office 6,000 times, Dr. Scaglione's office. And so I thought I bet you she read him. He lost his wife, this surgeon, in a freak accident. She drowned at some beach, and but she read everyone else in the office. I bet he didn't let him put it on the air, but it was just so weird, just so weird to see that. Like I was like, holy shit, that's the guy. I was he did 3 surgeries on me, so I kind of know him really well, and it's a good show. If you guys haven't seen it out there, I highly recommend it. I sit there, I don't know about you, I cry the whole time. That's like my therapy. Usually I don't cry during the day, except if I see like a sad movie or something like that, but I don't even watch movies anymore. So I watched the Long Island Media, and she talks about to the dead of all these people, and they're hysterical, obviously, because it's their relatives. And I'm just sitting there like almost like vicariously crying through them. And I feel like I did like 10 hours of therapy after the show's over. It's crazy.
Be good to get on your show, her doing a reading for you on the TV show.
She's too famous now. I was thinking about reaching out to her and just saying, hey, if you want to get in.
Yeah, but why not? You never know, because people who, some people who are famous, realize where they came from, and they.
Right.
They do people favors.
She read Rosie O'Donnell. It was great. She did a great reading for her. She does some celebrities, mostly regular people. You know what I like about her? A lot of times they do, they go to people's houses, they do readings. Those are good. But she will go to the nail salon to get her nails done, and then just read someone in the nail salon. She's like, I can't sit here. I'm getting like a pain in my head. Someone's relative's coming through, and she'll just go up to someone and say, "I'm a meet." They all know who she is, of course, and she's like, she'll start asking them questions, and of course, they're like, she's talking to their dead father or something like that. I like the spontaneous ones, because usually the people who actually have readings with her, they're usually wealthier people, and they're usually people who have waited for. I like people who aren't even expecting the reading. She just goes in there. She actually, I had another girl on my show who I used to be very good friends with. She owns a place called Village Streetwear. It's where I got all my clothing. They do piercing in there, and she went in there with her daughter to get her daughter's ears pierced in American. And she read the girl who owns the store, who I'm friends with. So it was pretty funny also. And she's like really closed. You can't get through to her. And she was hysterical crying. She's good. See, I got to see if I can get her on the show. I got to try to do something. I want to maybe even do her diet or something like that, just so I have a calling to all of a sudden, reach out to her. There must be a reason. My dad probably wants to talk to me. He's like, just fucking get in touch with her, all right?
Yeah, get your dad get her on the show and get your dad on the show.
Maybe I'll get on her show, and then they could, you'll see her talking to my dad or something like that. Because I got my mom come through I had a couple readings before by some mediums before, but I haven't done one since my dad passed, so it would be interesting to see what he has to say. But anyway, getting back to the whole Jay thing. So yeah, I'd love to get Jay on to talk with Ronnie. Imagine those old stories, just about what they were going through, like Jay and Ronnie together. Jay's, because maybe Jay can now admit what he was. He must have been mentally. You probably know he had to be mentally really challenged to keep going, because they kept giving it to Ronnie year after year after year.
Yeah, he would. The summation of that is, you can see the video of Jay in 2005. And that was a really close show.
Yeah.
And,
Was that when Ronnie's back first looked kind of screwed up?
Yeah. And Jay's back looked really good that year, and Jay was in tremendous condition. And there's a clip from some video, I think it was like Battle for the Olympia, and you see Weinberger backstage, and they ask Weinberger something. It was a great quote. Weinberger has a lot of good quotes. When you stick a camera in his face and he's like, in the moment, he shook his head and he said, it was close, it was a war. I'll never forget that. It was a war. It was a war. And Jay would just sat in the chair for a long period of time after the show backstage.
Well, he knew it was close. When you know it's
yeah.
When you know it's close, like when you get beat, you get beat. When you know it's really close and it could have gone, that's a tough loss to take,
Yeah, and that was it. He regrouped for the next year.
Yeah. No, Jay's got mental fortitude, and I think that's why he won.
Without a doubt.
A lot of guys.
But so doesn't Coleman,
Yeah, look, I mean, Ronnie had to know he was training with that problem. There had to be a problem there. It wasn't like he probably just didn't talk about it. I'm sure he knew. You can't not know, But anyway, so Ronnie claims he's not going to walk. I don't know. I mean, I know he'd been walking with those braces and those weird. They're like crutches used with your elbows, right? Instead of your underarms. I don't know if he can still do that anymore. If he's, I suspected, he wasn't going to be walking normally, but if he can't actually get out of a wheelchair, that I don't know about it. We'll have to find that out. I'm going to have to reach out to him again, make sure that we can get him on the show at some point. Now, I'm also interviewing next week, or this coming week, I should say, Andre Rush, who is the White House chef. We mentioned him before. He's been there for 4 presidents. This guy is talking about Ronnie Coleman. He looks like he could be Ronnie's brother. He's huge. And he's going to be coming on the show and tell us how he got the job cooking for the presidents. And I want to find out what he makes for the presidents. Because he's obviously a bodybuilder. He works out, the guy. He's got a crazy bench press. He just calls KFC, and that's what Trump likes, KFC. I'd like to know if maybe he sneaks, if he's cooks a little healthier, maybe because he's because of his background in fitness, or if he just he knows the dishes that they like and he cooks them as is.
Yeah, he just gets regular recipe instead of extra crispy.
Wouldn't it be great to have your own chef? When I went to see Chris Angel in Las Vegas when I was doing his diet for a while. He kind of dropped off the grid recently. We text once in a while, but he hasn't been following too strict a diet. But anyway, when I was doing his diet for a while, I met with his chef, and he's like, Chris is the easiest guy to cook for because he only likes 2 things. He only likes chicken. He won't eat any other protein sources. I said, well, that's pretty easy. You just make a lot of chicken. But I say, Chris, man, you got it made here, and this guy won't even, because the guy cooked me some food for lunch. Chris, tell him anything you want. He'll make you anything you want. I said, well, you probably don't have anything other than chicken in the refrigerator. He's like, no, he'll make anything. So he was really good, this guy. I was like, man, if I had my own chef, how great would that be? Imagine that.
Yeah, just whatever.
I'm in the mood for filet mignon tonight. Tomorrow, I'm in the mood for salmon. But I'm such a creature of habit. I'd be ordering the same thing every day.
You how many different things do you eat? 5. Chris Angel eats 2, and you eat 5. Yeah. Salmon. What do you eat? Salmon, kale, rice.
I have my egg meals. I eat fish and chicken. I eat fish and chicken. I eat fish, chicken, and eggs. There's a lot of variation on that. Once in a while, I'll have a piece of red meat. If I'm in the mood. But I don't eat that many times a day anymore. It would have come in really handy when I was competing. When I was eating 8 times a day. That really would have been worth it. Right now, I probably wouldn't get my money's worth out of it. Although he'd feed my kids, that might be worth it. You really need it. You got a lot of kids.
Yeah, they eat me out of house and home. I didn't know. Nobody told me when they turned 14 and 13 because they're both. One is 6'1" now.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, and the 13-year-old is about just a little. I'm 5'8", 5'9". He's about almost my height. But the amount of food, they eat is insane.
Do they snack a lot, or are they just eaters?
Oh God, listen. Today, there's a fruit bowl that was up there with tons, and just it's gone, all of it.
Thank God you don't eat anything. I'll be pissed off as hell because he'll be eating all my food, my kids too. My daughter loves
milk. Milk is a gallon of milk is like gone in like a day.
Really? My son doesn't even use milk. Doesn't even drink milk anymore. Is that weird? He just he's like he doesn't want it anymore. He'd rather what he this is true. He drinks the Amino Evolved that I make from Species Nutrition. He will drink that stuff all day long. He loves it. Mimis. That's what he calls it. Mimis. What do you want to drink? Mimis. I said, okay, you sure? Yeah. Well, Mimis. I put like a half a scoop in there and in his cup and put some cold water in there, and he sucks that stuff down. Loves it.
What are you doing now that they shut down your buffet?
I know. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you told me. You told me off the air that they shut down your
Golden
buffet.
Corral.
I know you go there.
I can't get in there. I had to take him to.
Would you have to go look for a new buffet?
Yeah, we've been going for Mexican food.
Is it a buffet or is it just food?
No, it's regular, but they give you a lot of food. They give you the unlimited chips, and we get guacamole and the dip and whatever, the salsa dip there, and then he gets a chicken quesadilla. And my daughter's actually a better eater than he is, to be honest with you. She's only 10 months old. She can sock away the food. She's a little chubster. He picks. He's not like a big eater. He's like, if you don't stick food in his mouth, he won't even eat it. She'll forget about it. She'll devour. She eats the Quest protein cookies. She almost eats the whole thing. I don't know how she does it. She's not that big.
Well, they're delicious. That's why.
Yeah, they're very good. She's like a monster. You put her in the walker, forget about it. She comes up to you. She eats those cookies. It's unbelievable. But yeah, that's kids are kids. Your kids are going to be in college pretty soon, so.
Oh gosh, more expenses.
Hopefully, do they? Are they any possibility of scholarships?
I'm sure I went to. I don't brag too much about my kids.
That's why I have to bring it out of you. I suck it out of you.
Well, I took my 13-year-old to. I went to his parent-teacher conferences, and every teacher.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? You saying that now that your kids aren't homeschooled, you actually have to go to parent-teacher conferences. Before
every teacher
you sat down with your wife, and that was your conference.
That he was the brightest student that they have ever had.
Is that because of your wife?
Everyone, science, social studies, they can't believe that he was homeschooled.
Yeah,
and they said to me, "You've done a great job." I said, "I thank you."
Your wife probably stuck a fucking knife in your side.
No, but he's just he was born bright.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's because of the schooling, or do you think because of the fact that
he was born bright?
He was just a smart kid, yeah.
Smart, always smart. Actually, this guy who runs an air conditioning company, there's a labor shortage right now in the country.
I didn't know that.
Unemployment's low, and because it's low, the pool out there of potential workers, it's a challenge to find someone. I know somebody has a coffee shop, and he told me, he's always firing people because he can't get people just to ring in coffee. It's that challenging.
Yeah. No one wants to work.
Yeah, and then the flip side is, the people who are looking for work, they don't want to work hard. So this guy who he has a small HVAC company, and he asked me, if you know someone responsible at any age level, I'm looking for somebody to run my office. And I'm dead serious. I can pull my 13-year-old. Yeah, I can pull him out of school. He says, I'll pay him $40,000 a year. And I said, you know what? He might be able to do it while he's in school. He's that bright, with a cell phone.
Yeah, that's so funny.
And I was dead serious. I was dead serious because the responsibilities that I give him are just, insane.
He'd probably love it, too. He'd probably like it.
I had this bureau, Dave. I bought this bureau on Wayfair. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize what a great deal. I don't read enough, the reviews and stuff.
Like me.
It looked beautiful, and it was cheap, so I ordered it. It came in 400 different pieces.
Oh my God!
That you had to put together. Yeah. I'm serious, Dave. There was so many different little screws and widgets and
don't tell me
gadgets. I spent 2 hours just reading the directions to get started, and I started 2 pieces, and I screwed up the second one, and I left. I said, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So I told him, I will pay you $50. $50. But I figured it'd take him hours and hours and hours to put it together. He had it done in 2 hours.
Wow.
I mean, the face of the drawers had to be put together. When the the little knob on each piece of the drawer. When you pull a drawer out, the little sliding pieces had everything came. It was like one giant jigsaw puzzle.
Did he read the directions, or did he just figure it out?
He looked at the directions, like the schematic, and he just started from there, and then read the directions and pop, 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 and I said, that's incredible. But his English teacher said one of the stories that he had written, he was making a comic book out of it because he draws as well.
Yeah.
And he's an exceptional drawer, and he just picked that up. And I had to, of course, embellish and say, he's also thinking to make that into, because he acts as well, into a musical. English teacher. I said, I'm just kidding.
That's funny. It's good to see when your kids.
But it was as you can tell, I was very excited, And I went to the 14-year-olds and his parent-teacher conferences. He's smart, but he gets in trouble.
That was my problem too. Very mischievous, right?
Very mischievous.
They said I was an instigator of trouble. They said your son never gets in trouble, but he gets everyone else in trouble because he instigates.
That's it. He's an instigator. That's the exact word, Dave, they use. He instigates.
I didn't like that word. I thought it was a very, very nasty sounding word to me. I didn't really know what it meant, but it was very nasty.
Well, you know what the problem is? He's bored, I think. He's smart as well, and he gets it quickly probably, and he gets bored, and he just, nothing else to do.
I just like to manipulate people, that's all. As a kid. I think I'm still doing it. Now, anyway, another subject. Our good friend Mel Chansey had a show this past weekend here in
I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, that's right. Mel has that Florida show.
Yeah. It's I'm a terrible friend because, when you have kids, you always seem like a terrible friend because you can't do anything because there's no freaking time. I really wanted to go to the show to show my loyalty to Mel, but I just don't have any time. And the problem is, we get the kids on the weekend. We don't have anyone watching them, and we can't. They can't last at a show like that. It's not.
God, it's diapers and the snacks and the foods and the bottles and the toys. You got to pack it all up into the minivan, which you have.
Yeah, we do have the minivan. That's true. The minivan. Oh my God!
And then when you get there, Mel will come up and say, "Hey, Dave, what's going on, Dave?" And you can't really relax because you
oh yeah, and I turn around and then I'm getting yelled at because I'm not watching my son, and because my wife's watching my daughter, and my son's climbing back. He's backstage oiling guys up, and oiling girls up, and I get yelled at. So you can't win. It's very hard. It's very hard to go anywhere with the kids. We were actually thinking about taking the kids to Disney. I don't know if that's a bad move. And it wasn't that the Disney is so bad. It's the 3-hour ride to Disney that might be the problem.
Listen, I told my kids at that young age that I was taking them to Disney.
Yeah.
And I made it sound like this exciting thing, and I created this picture in their mind, and they kept on saying, "When we going to Disney? When we going to Disney?" And I'm thinking, like, these guys, their attention span is like, nothing, right?
Right.
So what I ended up doing is I took them to like a little amusement park in New Hampshire, and I told them it was Disney World. So when we went to Disney World, finally, like years and years later, one of them remembered, didn't we go to Disney in New Hampshire too? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I realized that I had tried to bamboozle them and get off on the cheap rather than fly down to Florida like everyone else does and stay in the hotels and we went to like a little cheapo.
I'm petrified of staying in a hotel with them. I'm looking at like suite, like they have like these special kids suites and stuff like that where they have their own room. I'll spend any money possible if I have to go on vacation. I don't want to be aggravated, there.
First time I stayed in a hotel with my kids, had to be like 5 a.m. I hear they were playing with the coffee machine.
Oh no!
They were up and pushing the buttons and pouring water in. And
yeah, you can't take your eyes off them. It's like this like terrible feeling of like never being able to relax.
It's not a feeling; it's a fact.
Yeah, no, I know.
Let me correct you.
Exactly.
That's why I go to the Olympia week early.
So you can kind of relax.
I'm going down to
the Nationals
down to Miami too. I'm going early.
Yeah.
to relax.
Speaking of which, I'm not going unless like I said, let's get an
Oh,
apology.
you still didn't get the apology
No,
from Steve?
no.
Yeah.
Well, he's never gonna give me the apology. It's not gonna matter. I'll just keep talking about it though, just to annoy people. If you guys want to see me down there, or if you want to just be, if you think that I was wronged, if you don't, then say fuck Dave. He doesn't have to go to the Nationals. I have a press pass. I'm sure they'll give me one. I know they will because Jim Mannion said he would. But I'm not going until I get an apology from the promoter. So you guys can you can send your Dave Palumbo requests to pambetz@AOL.com, PAMBETZ @AOL.com. Tell us, you know what, we want Dave Palumbo at the Nationals, or maybe tell them you don't want Dave Palumbo at the Nationals. And if she gets enough emails and she passes them on to the NPC main office and Steve Carroll, maybe someone will apologize to me. But I'm not going. Not wasting my time. Although I do, I was invited to go out to dinner with Amin Alai and Roger Stone. Roger was going to go to the Nationals.
Oh, you're kidding me?
Yeah, he lives right there. But Amin was going to be in town, and they were going to go out to dinner. I said, I might just come down just to go out to dinner with you guys. I'll bring Chris Aceto.
Well, it might be. Yeah, we might.
We could just talk to Roger. That'll be.
That'd be an iron debate. We put the camera on us.
Yeah, that'll be way more entertaining than actually going to see the Nationals.
I would say, Roger, isn't it funny that they chanted "lock her up" about Hillary, and now Trump's campaign manager is in jail? The irony of it all.
So Roger Stone will be there, so I might go see him. But I'm not going to go unless I get an apology. No, I probably won't get one. But hey, you know what? It's all you guys lost out there. If you guys want to see me there and you want me to interview you guys and cover the show, then make a stink. That's what it's about. They're not going to do anything unless someone says something. If you guys complain, there's probably 15,000 of you listening to the show right now. You don't even have to be in this country. Send a letter. Send an email. Tell her, we want to see Dave Palumbo at the show. We want him to be apologized to. He was wronged last year. J.M. Mannion even admitted to me. J.M., Jim's son, admitted at the show in front of his father and Steve Weinberger that he did give me permission to go backstage, and that Steve Carroll overreacted. So you know what? You ruined the weekend for me, these guys. I spent a lot of money to go there, and I was disrespected. So I there's nothing wrong with an apology. People do things wrong all the time. I do things wrong. I'm always apologizing to people. I probably apologize too much, and that's all it takes. But I'm not going back until I get an apology because it's not right, and I have to stand up for my moral convictions, Chris, because they're very important. And once you let people disrespect you like that, then you know what, they'll keep disrespecting you.
Of course.
Not to mention that I made a big stink about how I thought that they should have a press area there set up. It doesn't have to be backstage. It could be right next to the stage, off to the side. You could put an NPC backdrop. You could put a Nationals backdrop on it. And I said this last year, and I'm sure no one listened to me. And just have all the press right there. So that when the competitors get off the stage after they win or whatever they do, they can go right over to the press area and they can be interviewed by all the press, who's ever there. I don't know who's covering the shows anymore. MD, NPC News. You can have whatever. I don't know, Muscle Insider, whoever goes I don't even know who goes to these shows anymore. And RxMuscle. And this way, the press has a place to go and no one's getting kicked out of anywhere. No one's getting yelled at because they're providing an area. That's what the athletes want. How else are they going to get publicity? If I don't go, I don't care because I'll get every person who won their class contacting me on Monday saying I want to be interviewed, which I'm encouraging you guys, whoever wins, contact me. I don't want the second place, finisher of like Class C calling me. I want the overall winners, unless there's some very spectacular people out there that I feel like interviewing. And I'm going to interview these people to give them their just due. Let them get their accolades. Let them get their voice out there. They accomplished something great, becoming an NPC national champion in any division. I don't care. You could say that you don't think one division is as good as the other. It doesn't matter. In any division, being the best in the world as an amateur has got to count for something, and I think that they need to be acknowledged. I like doing it at the show when they get off stage, when they're emotional. That's why I go to the shows. Otherwise, I wouldn't even bother. And you know what? If I have to wait till Tuesday morning to do it, then I'll do it. I don't care. But you know what? If you guys would like to see me there, with Chris wrapping things up and doing all that good stuff, then you got to let me know. Otherwise, I'm not going. And that's it. That's my spiel. I think it's good. I still think the Nationals is the best amateur show in the world. I think it's I have a lot of athletes in the show who I encourage to do it because I think it's such a great show. And who knows? I might have a few winners out there. We'll find out in a couple weeks from today. I'm sure you probably have a couple horses in that ring too, and probably a couple potential pro card winners. So
yeah, I got 2 horses using the same pharmaceuticals as the horses use.
Now there was a Masters Pro show this past weekend in Baltimore. Now I remember it was a year or 2 years ago. The Baltimore show was a pro show. They had Akeem Williams and Victor Martinez. Now it's just a pro Masters event, and I don't know if you saw this guy who won, Chris, Charles Limes. I don't even know where he's from. What a freak!
Really?
What a freak! Yeah, he's huge.
Where'd you see it? NBC News?
35 and over. Yeah, I believe so. I think I saw it on there. Let me check it again. I saw someone. No. I helped Lee Apperson, who was in the thing, and he's over 60. He had his girlfriend take some pictures. That's where I saw it. It might be online by now. It's called the Baltimore Pro. I'm trying to look. I don't see it. Probably by tomorrow it'll be up. I see the scorecards are up. This kid was a freak, though. A kid. I call everyone a kid. He's not a kid. He's over 35. Second place, Jeff Williamson, who I also don't know very well, and Eric Elstrop, I know, from Canada. He was third. Jamie Iboni, if you know him, fourth place. And Vinny Galante was in the show, fifth place. Vinny's been around. Vinny's been competing for 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
Vinny started before I did.
I saw Vinny win the New Jersey something as a teenager.
Yeah, he was really good. And then you remember he won the he won like the NPC Nationals middleweight, the NPC USA middleweight.
USA when there was a phenomenal year. The year was just absolutely insane year.
Yeah, who was in that show? Can you remember?
Where was it? It was in LA? Was Wheeler one?
I don't know. It was early in the 90s. He won that class, and then I think Jose Figueroa was second, who from New York also. And that's when back in the day when those classes were great. But back then they didn't give pro cards to every class when you had to win the overall. And Vinny kept coming in second at the Nationals for some reason. Yeah. He turned pro. I actually helped him turn pro in the Masters Nationals a couple of years back. Believe it or not. And he's still going. So he was fifth there. They had a Masters Classic physique. Also won, ironically enough, by Eric Elstrop, who's third in the Open. So that was pretty funny. Randy Watson second, Jamie Iboni third. And then in the Masters men's physique, over 35, they had Napoleon Amos won that. They had a female bodybuilding division. They had one girl, Eva Montgomery.
My goodness, one person.
She came in second. I'm just kidding. She won. Masters Pro Figure won by Natasha Corbett from Brooklyn, and Bikini Masters won by Fatima Ray. Oh, they even had a women's physique Masters, and that was won by Isabel Jackson. So congratulations to the winners. Yeah, it's a shame that they have no place to go when you win these Masters events. I used to like the Masters Olympia. I don't know why they get rid of it. I think no one wanted to hold it anymore. It's too expensive. Because you had to buy the sanction, or pay for the sanction from AMI. And they charge a lot of money. And I guess they couldn't make back the money. But I liked that show. I loved seeing all the old timers there,
Yeah, it was great.
Remember Samir was doing it back in the day? Samir did it. Who else did it from that era?
You mean when they first had the Masters Olympia?
Yeah, the first like 5 or 6 years, they had some good lineups. Eddie
Boyako did it.
Boyako did it.
Frigno did it. Robbie Robinson did it. Danny Padilla did it. A lot of legends did it.
I'm trying to think.
You should get Robbie Robinson. Besides Mike Christian, you should get Robbie Robinson.
We got to get on a helicopter and go up to the top of like Mount Everest and find him. Right?
He's in Venice. He's in Venice.
Okay. You can't. Just when you think you can find him, you can't find him. He's hiding out. No, I've interviewed him before, but he was a great interview. I'd love to do it again. He's in his 70s now, so, and he still looks amazing. He still looks way better than I do. That's for sure. I know that.
No, he still trains. He's still training. Still training hard.
He's one of the kind of guys that has zero injuries. You ever notice that? And he trains hard. He's been training since 1960s, and he doesn't have any injuries. What does that say for you? That's called genetics.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what he has to say about Ronnie Coleman.
That's why I said get him on the show.
Yeah, it's a good one. I have to write this.
Mike Christian, did you reach out to Mike Christian?
I did. He didn't get back to me, though. Maybe he changed his number, though. I might have the wrong number. I may have to get to him on Facebook. Everyone has... All those guys have Facebook, so that's usually a safe bet.
Ask Mike Christian when you get on. He had the craziest Benz of all time. I've mentioned it on the show before. It was custom made for him.
Yeah, you said he had he made it into a convertible? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was convertible. It was like a giant sedan. I mean, it was so beyond over the top. It was like something that you would think that... I mean, it was a car that really belonged to, like, Tom Cruise type in his heyday.
You know what the funny thing is? You should be driving that now. Because you like to drive, like, 30-year-old Mercedes. Maybe you could find that car and you can
Maybe
get it.
I can get someone to cut make my 1994 Mercedes into a convertible.
Yeah, repaint it and everything.
Sean makes fun of it, but it's been paid for since 1995.
Cars are a losing proposition.
Not if you keep on the road for 25 years.
No, I'm saying most cars, you lose.
No, I know they are.
Although you probably have spent so much money on fixing that freaking thing over and over. And I don't even know how they have parts for those old cars anymore. It's amazing they make them. A lot of times you got to go to these junkyards and find
every time I bring it to the dealership, someone wants to buy it. I'm dead serious. Every time.
Well, it as my dad would say, it's a classic now. You know, my dad had this old Buick Riviera, and it was like a numbered edition. He had bought it off someone. I thought he spent too much money when he bought it, but you know, he had bought it used, and it looked beautiful. It was like a very high end looking car, you know, and of course my dad didn't really take very good care of it, but.
Jay used to have this when Jay was like a teenager, maybe 19. He had this Buick, and it was gigantic and had plush cloth seats, and it was the most comfortable ride and the most comfortable seats I'd ever.
Yeah, the old Buicks and Caddies were like couches on wheels, basically.
That's exactly what he had. So when he sold it, I'm like, why'd you sell that? He traded it, I think, for he traded up for a BMW.
Yeah.
He always had nice vehicles. But he always get these crazy deals too. And Jay could tell you, if you ever have him back on the show, exactly what he bought each vehicle, exactly what he paid for it, exactly. He's a numbers guy all the way.
Yeah. You know, the old American car philosophy was luxury. There was no drivability. So if you wanted a car that actually drove, you had to get a German car. But if you wanted comfort and great air conditioning and cup holders, man, you can't go wrong with an American car. At least back in the 70s and 80s, they were like literally couches on wheels. I remember Brian Hoydick, my friend Brian, had this fucking crazy Cadillac also that was like, I mean, it was like you're sitting in the most comfortable couch you've ever had in your living room, you know, and driving around in this thing. And you ever see these guys that like sit like reclined back, like they're almost laying back on a couch? I don't know how you drive like that. I have to be upright, completely upright. Matter of fact, I'm more than upright. I'm like leaning forward a little bit because I want to be, you know, I have to be alert. If I lay back like that, I'll be asleep in 2 seconds. That's just me, though.
Oh, I got pulled over tonight. I forgot.
Oh, you did?
I was going to tell you that. Yeah, I was coming out of a Chinese restaurant, of course, in the dark with no headlights on. And so the guy pulls me over.
Because your car is so old, it doesn't have the automatic lights.
No, this is a family vehicle, so I got the SUV and.
Oh, so those new vehicles, the lights turn on automatically, don't you?
Well, I don't. I know they do. That's what I told them too. I said I don't know how to operate. You know, I mean, I told him. I said I don't even know how to use my remote control. I thought I had the lights on. So he said, "You know why I pulled you over?" And I said, "I couldn't have been for perfect driving, I guess." And then he asked me for my license, which I had, my insurance card, which I had,
right,
and my registration, which had expired last February.
Oh my God, that's not good.
And he said, "Why are you driving around?" I said, "I am so busy." That's what I told him. And so he didn't give me a ticket. He said, "Make sure you get it taken care of."
Wow, you're lucky.
You know what? You know why? It's the only, because they don't send you. You know, everything else I pay on time. They don't send you something that's in the mail that says your registration has expired.
Right.
It's your responsibility to know when, and I'm too busy to realize.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that they said. Usually in New York, they used to just
No,
send
not
me
in
an
Maine.
auto
You got to know. So I mean,
Yeah,
bills
that's
and
Maine.
stuff, they go out the same day they come in.
Yeah.
Registration, you know, this is like the third year in a row it's been expired by a full year.
Yeah. So now, one of my more popular interviews of the week this past week was BSA. Now, Big Sean Allen, you told me to get him on the show, and I said, all right, fine. You know, I'm going to get him on. He's been texting me like a maniac, so I got him on the show, and you know, after the build-up we had given him, because he listens to everything we do, about doing the best interview of all time after he won his pro card.
Yeah, I had to change
2011.
that because I watched both interviews. The post North American win was good, but I think you interviewed him like in a restaurant.
The day
Yeah.
before. Oh no, that was like a week before or something like that.
The week before, because you know what? At that point, he was running on fumes. He was so depleted.
Yeah. It was like,
And he was talking a combination of nonsense, but he would have lots of highlights of genius. He was so funny.
Yeah.
And I don't think he meant to be funny. He was just like blabbing.
yeah. That's what he was like at this interview. He was very, very forthright. So people seem to like it a lot. Anyway, so he texted me during, yo, Dave, you see the interview is popular, right? I said, yeah, it was a great interview. I said, I was laughing the whole time. You knew that, right? He's like, oh, you see the fans, they love me. I said, yeah. He's like, you got to get me on. I got to talk to Aceto. So I'm thinking, you know, he's up late at night. Maybe we should give him a call now because we tape these shows at like 1 in the morning. So I'm gonna pause the recording for a second. I'm gonna see if I can give Big Sean Allen a call. All right, I think Chris, we got Big Sean Allen on the line here. Big Sean, I know it's very late at night. This is when we do our recordings on Saturday night, so Sunday night usually. What's going on? Your interview is super popular on the website, on the RxMuscle site.
Hey, what's going on, my man? Yeah, it's nice to be back. The energy levels is going to be a little bit down. You know, like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's why I had to do this, because I didn't want you to be too overwhelming and overwhelm the whole conversation. So I had to get you late at night when you're a little tired, you know?
Yeah, but I was looking forward to it, you know, because like I said, I've been wanting to talk to Chris and you guys, and I'll be listening to you guys on Heavy Muscle Radio from time to time. And to be honest, it gets to be boring, you know, so...
Well, that's why we got you here, because we don't want our ratings going down. We wanted the ratings going up. Right, Chris?
Exactly.
Yeah, we need we're competing with MD, you know, so oh no, they don't have a radio show. They don't have a radio show. Sorry, it's John.
That ain't no fucking competition, so don't even mention them fuckers over there.
Now let me ask you, Sean, is it true that
you know what, Sean? We put that radio show to sleep.
Many years ago, bro. Many years ago. And everybody listening know that.
Is it true that you turned Big Sean Allen down to coach him, Chris?
Whoa. Before you start attacking him, let me clear that up.
Okay.
First and foremost, Chris, congratulations, my man, for being the best coach out there in the industry right now.
Thanks, Sean.
Come on, man. Let me talk.
I want to take a bow. Let me
talk, my man. Let me talk. Damn, we gotta give each other time to speak,
right.
And then we, you know. So let's just hear me out. All right. So first and foremost, like I said, congratulations, my man. I know you've been at this coaching for a long time, man, and I know how much hard work and dedication you put into this shit. So it must be nice to be on top of the world and finally get that hard work. It's just like a competing athlete, you know, different. You know what I mean? You put all that hard work and all that time in with these athletes to bring them in at their best, and you know, you finally been rewarded. So. Me personally, I just want to say congratulations, man. You know, hard work do pay off. You know, congratulations to you and Sean. You know, so job well done. I'm sure that the clientele has quadrupled since you made that big move, huh? I'm sure you're busy as hell now.
Thanks, Sean. But you know how it is. It's like people want to get on your, you know, they want to get on the train, right?
The bandwagon. You know, they want to get on the bandwagon.
The bandwagon. Exactly. You got to get the bandwagon. So, you know, the flip side is, yes, sir. What?
But guess what? They can get on the bandwagon because guess what? They're gonna cut the check. Let them ride.
Chris doesn't have a minute left in his day to take a single
I know how
client
Chris
on.
is. Chris is very limited when it comes to who he's going to be dealing with, and very selective.
Right.
But thank you, Sean, because I put a lot into it. I do put a lot into it. And
I know
you know
do,
what, Sean? Sometimes the results don't come out the way you want them to come out. You know, I mean, you can't be. Nobody has a perfect record. You know, so
everyone's beatable.
No, I mean,
but
nobody has a perfect track record in terms of like someone. You know, there's a lot of prep coaches, and we all have our failures. So you know, sometimes we have a lot of success, and sometimes we have people that we work with, we just scratch our head. And so
all right, Chris, I got a good question for you here, because I know the viewers, you know, they don't want
this is getting boring because
I'm going to come at you.
You're loving them too much. Too much love.
I know. You set me up for a rope-a-dope, Sean. You're making me feel good. Then you're going to give me a body blow.
Nah, it's all in love, my man. I ain't got nothing but respect for you. Like I said, this ain't going to be no battle royal. I just wanted to, you know, get some things off my chest. But at the same time, come on, man, you gotta stop that nonsense. You gotta stop that nonsense. I want to know two things, okay? You got two sets of clients that you deal with. You got your white clients, right? And this ain't no racist remark. I'm just, just pointing them out, because you don't discriminate. You deal with all types of clients, right? All different nationalities, right?
Yep.
So from what I've been seeing is from your white athletes, right?
Yep.
They get crazy, freaky, hard, dry, veiny, vascular, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to the black clients, why is it a difference? What's the difference there? Why they don't get as hard as the white guys do? Meaning like a Jose, like the other guy, Zach Watson. You got so many guys that's white. They get crazy, freaky hard.
Well, I used to kid on the show that I had a whole black lineup for a while,
magically
dude.
Difference with them or something? Like talk to me, my man.
I used to kid Dave. I'm only working with black guys for a while because all the black guys were winning, and I told Dave I was afraid to take on a white guy and not be able to produce the same results.
Shit, you've been getting crazy results with them motherfuckers, boy, because the conditioning, like I said, if you put two sets of pictures up from your clients, it's night and day. Like I said, like a freaky-ass Jose Raymond, he coming in full.
Well, these photographers, they take pictures of the black guys I help at a bad angle. I don't appreciate them taking pictures when they're not fully flexed. Well, I can just cop out Sean and hang my hat on Sean and say his
man, fuck that copping out. We don't cop out at all, man. We take whatever comes at us and we deal with it. Ain't no copping out.
I do the best I can. That's the bottom line,
Well, I'm going to answer the question for you. I'm going to answer the question. I think
I know he wasn't going to answer it. He wasn't going to answer it to in detail, but the listeners want to know because I know
he's going to agree with me.
Which black guys you talking about?
He's going to agree with me.
You got Cedric.
I knew you were going to bring up Cedric. Cedric doesn't listen to half of what Chris says. When Chris worked with Cedric, Chris will never admit that because he's friends with Cedric. Cedric listens to 50% of what Chris tells him, and then the other 50% is what he hears from everyone else out there who he polls for information. So you're not going to get 100% results.
Sean.
What's up?
Who was the last person to beat Kai Green in a prejudging other than Phil Heath?
Hey, y'all talk about that man right now, but I'm saying there's still a difference in the way the body comes into play when it's showtime. Yes, you got a freaky Jose Raymond who's a freaky mass monster, crazy hard dry, and then you got a pretty aesthetic, pleasing physique like a Cedric, tall, right? Yeah. Good on the eyes, right? Full, nice, round, good. But when it comes to that last little bit of dryness, like I work with Dave, and Dave is one of them guys that like to fucking suck you down. I hate that shit. I don't like that extra extreme sucking you down shit. But it works miracles. So what I'm saying with you is, like you said, maybe Dave is right. Maybe Cedric ain't fucking listening.
Not listening.
I don't know. But I'm not singling out Cedric, but I'm just saying, just as far as the structures is concerned, you got aesthetically pleasing. Then you got a hardcore, rugged look like a Jose Raymond. They both your clients. Why are they? You know what I mean? So it's common sense. There's many things that come into play. You got genetics. You got different strokes for different folks. So I understand
Sergio's shredded when he competes.
Yeah, but it's a different shredded. Like it's shredded, but it's shredded. It's like a flat shredded. Mm-hmm. Like if you see Jose shredded, he's
both of those guys. Both of those guys, they don't have the fullness of like a Jose, of course, right?
Of course he's shorter, so you can push more food, and that shit just goes to the right places. But
I think black individuals.
trying to debate what you do.
I think this is a good conversation. I think
I'm just giving the listeners something.
No, Sean
it's a good conversation.
Big Sean Allen wants to see Cedric peeled like Eduardo Correa or
We all do.
Jose Reyes.
Exactly. Because I've been there, and I know if he did, he could be problems. Because, like I said, I always used to be the same way, worrying about how much I weigh on scale.
You know what, Sean? To this day, I still think that Cedric has a capability to win the Mr. Olympia.
Hey, like I was telling Dave,
people laugh at that,
the interview
but they
that
laughed
I
at
did.
Roden too.
It ain't too many guys over 6 foot that can bring it nowadays, and Cedric got the upper hand, but they always seem to push him to the back burner when it comes to the big show like the Olympia. I don't understand it because, like I said,
the Olympia has not been traditionally a good showing for him at all compared to the Arnold. You know, I mean,
but like I said, I don't see how they can keep judging him like that. They judge him well at the Arnold. He does well.
He looks better.
He ain't doing nothing fucking different.
He always looks better at the Arnold.
He's not dieting hard enough for the Olympia, or he looks worse. He got bad luck. Come on, man. That's just the politically correct answer.
But do you think he's ever looked good at the Olympia, Sean? Honestly,
absolutely, man. I don't be seeing no difference in the weight.
I don't agree.
I
don't agree. I don't agree with you. Tell me what year. What year did he look good? He actually was shredded this year, but he was too small, too flat.
But again, at the same time, from a guy like you, being a coach that likes pilness, of course I can see where you're coming from. But like I said, on the eyes, it's still part of it. They ain't got to be freaky pilled and go that crazy extreme. He's still beating them guys.
He's got to be like he didn't look like he did at the Arnold when he won, or when he should have beat Kai Green, or when he won.
Wonder why was Chris with him?
No, he doesn't listen. He wasn't listening to Chris this year.
I didn't work with Cedric this year, but last year he didn't look good. I worked with him, so that
Cedric
was like his
pulls
worst
this.
Olympia.
I'm going to try my own thing with Chris, and Chris is like, "Do what you want. I'm your friend. You know, I'm here to support you." And you know, you can't do your own thing because obviously he does. Your own thing doesn't work. You know, it might work to
not
win.
On that level of competition. Yeah. Not when you're on the biggest stage of your career.
No.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, but
too many things come into play.
It's tough for the tall guys. You know, what do you think about? Remember Tony Freeman when I helped him in 2008? He took 5th at the Olympia. I thought he should have won that year. That was the year Dexter won. Jay was off. I mean, how would Tony Freeman in 08 have done at this year's Olympia? I mean, would he have beat Sean? I don't know.
Not even in the same.
No, because I don't think that he had the conditioning that Sean had. But he was freaky looking.
I mean, Sean's got more muscle than
Freeman.
Tony Freeman.
I don't know about that.
Okay, put it this way. Close your eye. Put it this way. Sean's beating Phil. Ain't no way in hell. And Ramy and Bonac.
He beats Tony from behind. That's why.
Tony's not beating Bonac, so that throws that theory out the window.
Yeah.
Because Bonac just got too much muscle, you know.
Right.
All right, and let's stop comparing these guys. Let's get right down to the cracker things. All right. So, like I said, I congratulate you on you and Sean winning the title. Right now. I never had a chance to tell you, how I felt about that. Me and Dave, I gave my opinion, but it was briefly. So we're going to give it to the listeners. We're going to just talk. We're going to share our opinions, and we're just going to go back and forth a little bit. So, again, we know you're the man. You took it down, You took the man down. You knocked that motherfucker out. You took the champ down. Congratulations, right? Do I agree? There's two sides of the table, man. From a business standpoint, I know what the IFBB is trying to do, and I respect that, Phil left the door open. I understand that. Somebody's going to close that fucking door and they're going to come in there because people is hungry. They want to eat. They starving out there. They wolves, So the competition is severe. But at the same time, man, stop judging somebody from relaxed poses. If you go pose from pose, you're not, his stomach is a little bloated and distended, of course, and while he's posing, but as soon as he relaxes, it starts to protrude, it starts to get
Sean,
bloated.
What's Phil's heat like? What's Phil heat?
Hold up. Let me get to the point before you cut me, right? So he start breathing heavy and he start breathing through the stomach. Okay, you're relaxing, right? Okay, so what does a track runner do after he's sprinting? He catches his breath, right? It's the same thing, right? So again, there's many things that come into play with that stomach being like that. You being a coach, you know the rules and regulations. You know what come into play. Number one, he probably fucking constipated. Number one, he probably fucking ain't shit. He probably ain't shit since he been there. So his fucking stomach is full, but he's steady putting more and more food in there, Come on, man. You know the science. Why Sean is over there eating fucking tilapia and fucking cream of rice or something. You know, something like this man is trying to fill that frame out to try to get it popping. He's still in shape. But like I said, he's pushing that envelope with so much food, it came back to haunt him.
But the difference, Sean, is that the track athlete, he already finished his race when his stomach's hanging out. Phil's doing it while he's up on stage and being judged by
he's
a
catching
beauty
his breath
contest.
between, but so what? So what? Same way Sean was looking at him,
Because you don't
right?
get judged
They relax.
it's the whole time you're up there. It doesn't matter if you're posing or
Man,
not. They're looking
compare
at
the
you.
poses, pose for pose, and let's keep it real. Like I said, I know exactly. I'm not knocking Sean either.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of neither one of them, but I give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean? This man has been a 7-time champion. Look at the motherfucker from the rear. You see his hamstrings peeled to the fucking
All right, you
down
give
to
Phil
the calf.
you
see his glutes.
give
You see
Phil
his
the
lower
two back poses. What about
I'm
the
not even
front
talking
double?
about the back, but I'm saying, so if he's in that condition, how can his fucking stomach be so bloated?
Well,
Obviously, there's something going on. Like I said,
I
he's
agree with you.
constipated. So don't hold that shit against him.
Well, you gotta, because it's a beauty contest.
Okay,
it's a
so
beauty.
like I said, okay.
You were
We do the
beautiful
front
up there,
double
right?
body,
You
we
had
do
the
the
small
front back.
waistline. You wanted to be rewarded for that. You didn't want people to just forget about that.
And just for the listeners, don't get it twisted. Don't think I'm like some Phil Heath fan or something.
No, I know.
But
That's just your opinion.
I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
Because everybody always want to say stomach.
Look, I had a bad stomach issue too, and I hated that people would count it against
But do
me.
you agree with me though? Like I said, the man had surgery, he had a hernia, all different things come into play.
It doesn't
But
matter
don't
though.
say the
But
man
he's
wasn't
Mr.
in
Olympia.
shape.
He's got to be the best guy up there. It's a beauty contest. You know that. And if you don't if there's something that's unaesthetic about your physique, they mark you down for that. They warned him last year. He didn't listen. He came back and it was worse for whatever reason. I'm sure he didn't intentionally do it. And you know that he lost poses because of that. You know, and now if Sean Roden wasn't there, he'd be Mr. Olympia again. He would have beat third place Rully Winkler.
I mean, I'll tell you this. This is why, like I said, I would have liked to have seen Rolly. I'd like to see Rolly take the show. Not because he's a people champ, but like I said, because
He's a freak.
if you're going to lean to that, then put Sean and Rolly together. Now that's a battle.
That might
That's
be
a
next year's
battle, you
battle
know.
up there for all
I
we
would-
know.
Of course,
take
you're looking
that
at something
battle.
like that
I'll
because you
accept
know
that
Phil
battle.
ain't coming back. That's going to definitely be a battle. That and many more. Because people know it's wide open now. Chris got his hands full. Them
Do you think
them gurus is coming for
Sean?
you,
Do you think
Chris.
that Roden could repeat?
Hey, that man worked hard and he waited long enough for this title. Now it's in his hands.
Right.
It's in him and Chris's hands how bad he wants it. If he want it bad enough, why not?
Right.
Why not? You know you want it, right?
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to keep it. It's up to you to keep it.
Do you
I'm
think
not going
if-
to sit here. I'm not here to sit here and say whether he can or he can't. That's up to him. I'm not going to be up there trying to take it from him.
What about if Kai Green comes back? Can Kai Green win the Olympia?
Hey, man, if Kyle Green comes in, everybody that's listening know what the fucking happened if Kyle Green come back. That man is a problem, and don't start saying age, and all this other stupid shit. If that man comes, I'm sure you follow him on social media. If that man come out of the woodworks, everybody got their hands full. But like I said, you still got to keep your eyes on Rolly but he fucked right now because he got that little injury. That injury after that shit happened. You know, little things, little sidetracks like that.
Yeah, he just
set you
broke
back,
he
man.
broke a toe though. That's not a big deal. It's not gonna.
Oh, that's nothing. Then
that's
nah, he's
nothing.
good then if it's a toe.
Now here's an interesting. You remember when Chris, when they had the Masters Olympia that first year, and they got like a helicopter and they found Robbie Robinson in some like remote island, the mountain retreat or something like that. And they got him to come back and do the Olympia, and he won it.
Yep.
But they might do that for Kai Green to drum up some excitement. Maybe they're gonna try to put their.
I think it'd be great
disagreements.
for the show.
Yeah, I
It'd be
do
great,
agree. Yeah.
great for the show.
And if Sean beats Kai, then he really cements himself as a legitimate Mr. Olympia, because that's who everyone thinks should be Mr. Olympia now. So you beat Kai and knock him out, then you're like, man, Roden's got lots of street cred after that.
Well, that's why I said I think it'd be great. I'd love to see Kai Green on stage.
Yeah.
Love it.
What do you, Big Sean? What do you think about the whole Ronnie Coleman, not being able to walk anymore announcement?
I think it's sad as shit, man. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's very touching, man. You know, people don't. That man been through hell and back. You know, to be the best that he can be, pushed his body to the limit, trained hard as hell, protected against the law. You know, he was a cop. Did so many different things, positive things for the sport. Into this, when because we all ain't nobody getting younger. We all get older. You know, But to see that shit happen to you when you know, as you get older, you know, and see everything that you work so hard for just be taken away from you, and you just barely able to walk, and you're going through all these different surgeries, man. My thoughts and prayers go out to that man, because like I said, anybody that's ever bodybuilding, everybody fucking looked up to him. Everybody looked at his fucking videos. Everybody dreamed to be as strong as him. Everybody admired to be looking freaky like him. And you know what? Nobody ever duplicated that shit. Nobody ever came close to it. But to be at the end of his career and not be able to walk, man, it sucks, because like I said, he's a successful businessman. I mean, he can sit at home and not have to walk at all. He still can live his life. You know what I mean? You don't have to fucking worry about what the fucking critics are saying. Oh, man, he pushed it to the limit. He did this, that, and the third. He's a grown man, a very successful businessman. He can fall back and look back at the haters and say, fuck all y'all. I did it my way.
Right.
You know, and that's all that matters, you know. But when you go on social media and you see these different posts about all these little punk motherfuckers doing little things for hits and talk about him, man, come on, man.
That
So like I said on the show, man, it's all about respect. And them same people that's talking are the same fuckers that was at his line waiting to shake his hand and get his autograph when he was winning and when he was in his prime. So all you little punks.
Sean, you want to know? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Because like I said, I get myself in trouble when I start getting
to give some insight in the character of Ronnie Coleman is when Cedric finally won the Arnold. I don't know what happened. I had to stay in his room. He had to stay in my room because I didn't have a room for the next night or something. That one night, I guess it was my room. I didn't have a room. So I was going to leave early in the morning. I stayed at Cedric's. It was a knock on the door at 2:30. Bang, 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 bang. I'm like, who is here? I was asleep. Cedric was asleep. I go and I open up the door. It's Coleman.
Really?
In a wheelchair. And I didn't know he was in a wheelchair, dude. And he had on a blue 3-piece suit, and he was happy as hell.
Clean as hell, always clean.
Yes.
Pimp Ron.
Yep.
Go ahead, big Ron.
And I'm like, I just didn't know what he was doing. Like, he must have the wrong room or something. You know, it's Ronnie Coleman.
You never told me the story.
And I opened the door, and he wanted to he came to congratulate Cedric for finally winning the Arnold.
Wow, that's huge.
2:30 in the morning, and he stayed for like 5 minutes, and he, you know, I don't know what they said.
I didn't even know what room that Cedric was in.
I don't know. I guess, you know, Cedric checks in under the, you know.
And not only that about Ron, man. Like I said, Ron is the man. Like I said, I've been sponsored by many supplement companies, and Ron has been one of them. You know what I mean? Big Ron, he sponsored me. I was with Ron for about 1.5 years, you know, representing this company. And, you know, that's a stand-up guy. It's a lot of companies out there that, you know, they're afraid of me and things like that. That man has been real with me.
They're afraid of Sean. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth next.
That sounds silly, though, because I can sit here and name over 10 companies that I've been sponsored by. So, obviously, it ain't the companies that are scared of me. I'm just saying some companies, they override me for some less fortunate motherfucker because, you know, the way I talk and the way I keep it real, the way I speak my mind. Not many can accept that. You know, they want somebody to fake it till they make it. That ain't me. I don't roll like that.
Can you imagine that,
your
Chris?
Motherfucking protein.
Can you imagine that, Chris? That Big Sean is actually real? Oh, my God.
Well.
What? What was that? What did you say, Dave?
That anyone would ever doubt that you're anything other than authentic. That you'd have to be nuts. I mean, everyone knows.
But people don't like that. You know, they say he's too outspoken.
Of course, they don't like that about me either. That's why.
Arrogant.
Luckily, I have my own company. I don't have to worry about anyone hiring me. So.
Exactly. They don't pay your fucking bills.
Yeah.
It's the people that believe in you, that support you, that do. We don't worry about what the haters do.
Yeah. Well. So what do you think is going to happen for the Arnold Classic, Big Sean Allen? Now that we have you on there, I was going to ask Chris this in the show, but
I mean, you guys can start. You guys can start with that, and then I'll collaborate and jump in because I really don't know who's what.
Well, no. Who do you? If you had to just speculate, who do you think will be the big name?
I mean, I would
hope
Cedric is back. You know, he got a nice connection with Arnold. People love him there in Ohio. You know, so. If he's doing it, I'm looking at Cedric winning it again.
Chris, do you think
that's what I would go for?
Do you think we'll see a big Ronnie at the Arnold?
It's a good question. You know, he's unqualified for the Olympia, right? Top 5 qualify, and you know, I don't know. because we don't know, like, right? I mean, he's the guys.
You're not helping him, but if you were helping him, would that be the call for you? I mean, if you had a
it'd be the call. It'd be the call, right? That or the New York Pro.
Yeah, and New York Pro is going to be. It's the problem with the New York Pro is it's a great show.
My guess, and I'm usually guess right, Dave, is he skips the Arnold and goes to the New York Pro.
The problem with the New York Pro is that you're not going to get the lineup you're going to get there. At the well, maybe you will. I don't know.
It don't matter. He just needs some momentum.
The problem is he does New York Pro and he wins easy because who the hell beats him there? The Arnold, the reason you're going to have a better lineup at the Arnold is because they're giving away a lot of money there, right? I mean, so you're going to have Olympia guys there. He's got to go in and dominate a lineup where there's
he's going to dominate any lineup that's not the Olympia.
I don't know about that. I don't know. What if Bonek does the Arnold again? What if Rulli does the Arnold? He hasn't beaten those guys this year, so he might lose again.
Yeah, Rolly's dangerous.
Man, Cedric, if you listening, my man, come on, man. You got to represent for the guys over 6 foot. It ain't too many left, my man. Hit Chris up, and stop bullshitting. Get that.
I'm gonna go on, Sean. I'm googling right now the black man diet. How to get a black man peeled.
The funny thing is Cedric's listening probably, and he's agreeing he's probably agreeing with Big Sean. He's probably like, yeah, Chris has got me. Doesn't know the diet. He got me on the wrong diet because he's got me on the white man diet.
Cedric know what time it is, man. Cedric is all right, man. Cedric is a laid back guy, but like I said, it's just like anybody else. He's no different from anybody else. Yeah. If you're doing something and you don't agree with it, at the end of the day, it's up to you, no matter who your coach is, to do what you feel is right.
Yeah,
that's the difference between having a bond and a connection with a coach.
I got to ask you a question.
You trust each other. It ain't just you trusting the coach, but the coach trusting that he's going to do what the fuck you tell him.
I got to ask you a question, Sean. You had one of the greatest victory speeches at the 2011 North American when I interviewed you when you got your pro card. But I got to admit, I thought it was the best for a long time, but then Cedric kind of eclipsed it when he won the Arnold, and he gave his speech on stage with Arnold there. Is that, you think that's, can you ever eclipse that Cedric McMillan speech? I mean, if you won the Arnold.
Hell no.
That was good, right?
I met Arnold many times. I got them little portfolio pictures, them shits that you get when you go to the Arnold to meet him and shit, meet and greet. I got probably over 6 or 7 of them when I used to be in my prime, so I met him many times, but I never been in had that opportunity. So I don't think anyone in the sport can ever say they got that opportunity to be like that.
Right.
Like I said, you got the Arnold, the governor,
if you won though, but Sean, if you won the show, what would you say to him? Would you prepare something? I mean, or would just you let your natural?
You can't prepare, man. You got to go with the instance, man.
What would you say to him? What could you actually say to Arnold? I mean, knowing you with your personality, what do you think you would be saying if you won the Arnold?
Man, like I said, I don't live in no fucking fantasy world, man. You know what I mean? I would rather witness it firsthand. I never even got an invite. I never even had a chance to step on the Arnold stage. Right. You know what I mean? My biggest show that I ever did was the Masters Olympia. Where I can say. That's one thing I can look back on. That's when people say, what's your biggest career accomplishment? I look back on that because I had Dexter Jackson in that show. I had Tony Freeman.
Sure.
I had so many of the top guys. I had none. I had so many of the top guys in there, and I was in the top 15. I was battling with them big boys. So that was my Olympia. So when I look back at Dexter Jackson, come on, man, that's one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time.
I think that was the year I got choked, Chris, right? Wasn't it?
They see me back there. They see me backstage pumping up. So they know my capabilities of being on that stage with the best, but I just never, as a pro, I never did.
I'm just thinking about what your victory speech would be like, because you were so pumped up after the North American. Imagine winning the Arnold Classic and Arnold.
Of course I was pumped up. That's right there. I won something.
I know. I'm trying to speculate what you would be saying to Arnold. You probably lift Arnold up in the air over your head if I know you.
Man, it would definitely be a sight to see, and it would definitely, if you want to talk about something, let's talk about the press conferences that go on. Remember when I started, I was the first one to ever ignite a press conference.
Yeah. I was there.
And it wasn't like today. It wasn't like today where it's a host and they go on there and start asking questions. This was at the time where the whole audience was packed, and you just step up to the mic and you say what you want. Nobody comes to you and asks you what you want to say. I stood up and addressed the Olympians on my own.
What did you say, Sean, exactly?
Yeah. I mean, that's many years ago, man. I don't really exactly.
Well, Chris, what
know
did he
exactly
say?
what I said.
Chris probably
But I
remembers.
basically said this. I said, hey, I introduced him. Hey, my name is Sean Allen. Da da da. Gave him a little intro, because there was many people that didn't know me. I was up and coming. I still was walking around at 300 pounds with abs, huge as hell. So I was getting crazy love from the fans like I do now. So it was. I was in my prime. People was like, "Oh, you competing? Oh, who are you?" It was fucking. I was in my out of my mind. I was in fucking heyday. When you there, that's the best fans in the world. You know what I mean? You're not walking down the street and getting hate. You're getting nothing but love. I'm 6'5", walking around 300 pounds. I'm getting nothing but fucking love. So I'm taking pictures. I'm doing my thing. I'm having a good ass time. So finally get to the fucking press conference, I'm already feeling good. I'm all amped up, shit is boring, bro. It's boring. Ain't nothing happening. Same old boring shit like this show until I came on here and made it happen. Giving you guys something to laugh about, but nah. So it was packed. So I said, all right, I'm tired of all these dumb questions. And my mind was just saying, do it, Sean, do it. But I didn't have no idea what I was going to say. And you know me, I'm like I'm easy to fucking get going.
Sure.
So once I started talking, one thing led to another, and I just said, like I said, basically, I don't care what you guys say about this sport is for guys 5'9" and under. I'm tired of hearing that shit. I'm 6'5", and I'm gonna be the first one over 6'5" to change this sport, and start talking out of my mind, talking out of my ass, right?
He's telling like you're telling like who, like Wheeler.
Inside, I meant that shit. I wasn't playing. I was 300 pounds. Sure. I was in my prime. I was feeling good about myself.
Who was Mr. Olympia then? Was that Dorian?
No, that was Ronnie. I believe.
It was Ronnie?
I think that was the year Ronnie. That's when Flex was there. Everybody was there. Then me and Flex had a couple words and shit. He told me to sit down. He said, "You ain't earned nothing."
And what did you say to him when he said that?
Said, "Motherfucker, you come sit me down. I ain't sitting down."
Flex likes to fight everyone, but no one's going to fight 6'5" just Big Sean Allen. That's for sure, Chris.
So,
right?
like I said, it was a boring ass press conference.
Yeah.
Right. After it was all said and done, I addressed, because I had many friends up there. I was saying what's up to this one, saying what's up to. That's when, like I said, Ronnie was a champ, so I knew Ronnie. Me and Ronnie was going back and forth in emails and things like that. So I had a relationship with many of the guys. Said what's up to Jay. I look up to many people in the sport. Everybody know who I am. I'm not no bad guy. You know what I mean? But I keep it real. So it was a lot of negativity involved. But like I said, me and Flex didn't never get ready to throw no punches. Me and Flex got nothing but love from that point on in.
Right.
People like Steve Weinberger and Jim A. To this day, there's never been a press conference like that.
No.
And without that press conference, I wouldn't be who I am today.
No,
because that put me in the magazines.
Yeah, they put you in Flex magazine. I remember that.
Everything just happened for me in my career from that moment. So, guys that's listening, don't never think that as long as you got them talking, whether it's good or bad, you're doing something right. Yeah. So long as you guys are listening and you guys, the haters that's listening, y'all want to go online and talk, go ahead and talk because you're talking about me. I got y'all listening and talking. Keep talking.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you calling in at 1:30 in the morning and sharing a little of that story with us.
Okay. Before you start cutting me off, okay, I still didn't answer Chris's. Remember you said about Chris?
Yes.
About Chris. Okay, so I never, back in the day when he used to go with Laura, his ex-wife or whatever, when, I was in my prime, I was a lot younger and things like that. I might have reached out to him once or twice about coaching me or not. But he he replied and everything like that, but I was younger then, so I was a little bit hesitant because I was dealing with somebody of his expertise, so I was a little bit scared. I ain't going to jump with the best guy in the industry right away. So it never happened, but I never approached him. I never hit him up on email because it's hard to reach out to him. You gotta have some kind of connection. You got to know something. You're not just
Sean, we could have been saying, listen, I could have been having this conversation with Dave. Dave, come on. Sean will fill in the front double. Big Sean Allen, for sure. Front last spread. I gave it to Sean Allen.
You blew it.
Side chest, Sean.
I know. So again, he never said no. We just never. So as years went on, I seen him with like guys like Cedric. He don't really deal with too many taller athletes.
Here's the question that you've been waiting for 30 years.
So I said, damn, Chris, you don't really got too many taller athletes. Why haven't you never said, yo, Sean, you got potential, or just pull me to the side. You think highly of me. You speak highly of me. I hear how you talk to me, and I speak highly of you. So I just said at the back of my mind, why haven't Chris ever approached me and said, Sean, you got potential. Of course, now I don't want you to come at me now when I'm at the fucking, I'm on my way out.
End of your career.
You know, but
Here's
it would
the
have been
question.
nice to see what we could accomplish.
Here's the
Me and
question.
Dave did some things together. Some things together back in 2008 when I left the fucking IFBB and NBC because I crossed over to the PDI with Wayne D'Amelia.
When you came back,
me and Dave did some things back onto my road back to the IFBB. We started from the bottom. Started at Atlantic States, ran through that overall. Not many people can say they won that show. That's one of the toughest shows in New York.
Right.
You know, we ran through that. What happened after that?
Junior
Went to the
Nationals.
Junior Nationals.
Yeah.
Everybody was doubting me. Who the hell is Sean Allen? He's this, he's that. Guess what? Look at that 2008 overall champion.
You beat a lot of good guys.
One name. It's only going to be one name on there, and y'all listening to him. So all you motherfuckers that be talking slick online,
you know who
and
he
acting
beat?
like y'all don't know who I am.
You beat. Let's go through all the people you beat. Mike Liberatore, who was in that show. Jeff Long. These are all pros, guys who became pro after that, right? Who else was in that lineup?
Wasn't Keith in there?
Todd Jewell.
Keith was in.
Keith Williams.
Keith Williams.
All these guys turned.
What about the other guy? What about this? What's the guy from Atlanta that used to be good with the big legs? Trey Brewer.
Trey Brewer, right? You beat everyone in that lineup.
You know, so it wasn't no walk in the park. You know.
No, it was good.
I mean, Mike Liberatore was in there as a light heavyweight. That motherfucker was tough. He was shredded to the bone.
He was a heavyweight. He was actually a heavyweight. But here's the question I want to ask, Chris. Let's go back to the question because you still haven't got an answer.
Sit back, Chris.
You haven't got an answer. Hold on a second.
And you ain't even say nothing. You just sit back.
Hold on,
out.
Sean.
The easy way out. Let's hear what the fuck your answer is for, Chris. Again, you about to get.
If Sean would have come to you at the prime of his career, and pushed the envelope, and pushed the subject, saying, "Hey, Chris, I want to work with you." Would you have worked with him, or would you said no?
And don't
give
me no bullshit. Don't give me no bullshit answer. Be honest.
I would have.
We know you're a businessman. I know you're gonna put a dollar sign in front of it. I ain't asking you to sponsor me.
No, if you would have paid the fee, I want to know if Chris would have worked with him because Chris doesn't work with everyone.
I would have worked with him.
Yeah, you would have thought he had enough potential.
Chris, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, my man.
I said I would have worked with you.
You blew it, Sean.
Nah, you see how hesitant he is?
No, I know him. He doesn't lie. Chris doesn't lie.
I'm not saying he's a liar, but that's the same. So if I went to him and he gave me that feedback, you think I'm going to be happy about that? You know how I am, Dave. I used to get on you like, man, you used to tell me, oh, you got to do more cardio. I said, man, what the fuck is you talking about? I'm shredded to the bone right here. I'm sending you shit. You said, Sean, if I tell you you're too good, you're going to fuck it. You know, so you need that criticism, but when you go to a coach, you want that coach to be confident. You want that. You don't want to just be a dollar sign. You want that coach to be confident. Of course, you got many other clients. I don't want you to just forget about your Mr. Olympia, forget about your other clients. But you want them to be confident. And that's why me and Chris.
Sean,
that's why me and Chris never worked together. Because
I'll tell
Chris
you
is
what.
Laid back. I'm outgoing, and Chris just, I remember when I.
You're a very demanding client, Sean. You have to understand that too. It takes a special coach to work with you. I know how to handle you because I know how to work. I work very well with disturbed kids. No, I'm just kidding. I work well with people
disturbed
like yourself.
Kids, motherfucker. I'll give you something to be disturbed.
No, I work well with you because I understand. I understand that you need to be fed a lot. Your ego needs to be fed a lot because you as big as you are and as talented.
It ain't got nothing to do with the ego. That's just who I am. I'm a cancer man.
You need
I'm
a lot of
confident who I am.
You need a lot.
I don't give a fuck if no coach, no judge, no president. Like what I got to offer. I know who I am. I know what my parents brings to the table.
No,
I'm very confident. I don't need no approval. I don't need no opinion.
You need someone who's not afraid to tell you what to do and is not going to take your shit.
If it's an Olympia show or Arnold show or whatever else, I don't have to be competing. I walk through them doors. People recognize. People know who Big Sean
you know what?
Allen is.
You're a bully. So
that's what's more important.
You're a bully. A lot of coaches wouldn't work well with you because you would bully them. I didn't take your shit. That's why we work well. Chris wouldn't take your shit either. He would have worked fine with you.
Man, let me tell you something. I control my destiny. All them times that me and you coached, I listened to some things. I learned some things. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do.
No, well, that's why you're a hard person to work with because you're like Cedric. You sometimes if you get lucky, you hit it perfect. If not,
Hey, Chris. So let's leave the viewers with this. Enough of this shit, right? Okay, so I'm thinking about coming back to the classic physique.
Oh, no, I thought you said you weren't doing it. You said you weren't.
No, just listen. There you go again. There you go. I said I'm talking to Chris right now, man. Fall back. right? So, Chris, I'm thinking about, me and Dave talked about this, and he said it in the interview that, he thought that I maybe could do classic physique, which I can because I looked at the figures, and I got to be 270 pounds, which is not sucking me down, really. So, question for you. You think is it possible that I can come back, man? You think with the gift that I got now, not looking back at my old Sean.
What's your gift? The gift, the
with
gab?
the tools that I got now.
With
the
his gift, the gab. Can he come back?
You think we can come? You think we can do something in the classic physique? I don't even have to go classic. I go right back to the open body.
I think you can win I think you can win the press conference, Sean, easily.
In that case, motherfucker, I don't have to compete. I just show up.
Right. You know, Sean. 90% of the sport is mental focus. Right?
What was that?
You know that 90% of the sport is mental focus.
Oh yeah, of course. Mental is everything. That's everything.
I mean, that's
so basically, like I said, that answers the question. It's up to me if you want to do something.
Yeah. Because it's all,
it's nice just to hear what your thoughts was. You know what I mean? But you're absolutely right. So with that being said, viewers, 2019 New York Pro. Chris, be looking out for me, man. I might be reaching out to you.
There you go.
I think you should stay
I ain't
retired.
I ain't never scared, my man.
Stay retired, Sean. Your legacy is safe. With
I ain't retiring, man. I'm coming out.
I thought you have injuries. You told me.
Let me tell you something.
Did you tear both patella tendons?
And what? So what? I don't have no legs. I got the same.
I don't know. I haven't
that
seen
I
your
had
legs
before the injury.
Are
before
they good?
The injury.
All right. Send over some pictures. I want to see what you look like. I'm gonna filter. I'm gonna make. I have to do a pre-screening of you. If you look good enough, I'll pass on the pictures to Chris, and then you guys can talk. If I don't think you're good enough for Chris, I'm gonna tell you don't do it. How about that?
How about this? I don't need your approval, my man. You see what the fuck you look like right now? You see what the fuck you look like?
I'm not trying to get on stage. You want to try to compete at the New York Pro.
I don't
want you to embarrass yourself.
I'm not trying. I'm just talking to be talking.
I don't want you to be embarrassed yourself. That's all.
I ain't never embarrassed myself a day in my life. I'm not like you, my man. I'm not like you. Because anytime, if I'm going to get ready for a show, I ain't coming in at no 80%. Injury or not. I got a body that's good on the eyes. That's what classic physique is all about.
You have a very.
I got shape.
You got the
I got
waist.
size.
You got the
waist.
I'm jealous of your waistline, actually, to be honest with you.
But at the same time, I got nothing but respect for all them classic physique guys and all the bodybuilders out there listening as well.
We would love to have you come back because we'll get the best fucking interviews of all time.
I'm just talking for the radio. If I was thinking about competing, I would have been came out, man. I'm just keeping the controversy going, man.
Okay.
I got nothing but love for everybody out there that's competing.
Why don't you call out
we're not getting no younger.
Sean, why don't you call someone out in the classic physique division to give us a little even more controversy? What do you think of the current champ, Breon Ansley?
Man, he's a shorter guy, so you know what that means.
You don't have any respect
about the shorter guys. All them tall guys in there. I mean, Chris, how tall is the guy you mess with? He got a little pretty physique. How tall is he? Is he over 6 foot?
Henry Pierre?
Yeah.
He's 6. He's 6 feet.
See, that's not bad.
You get a tower over those guys. I'd rather see
somebody over 6 foot controlling that. Chris, Chris's client, it's a bunch of them over 6 foot that could be.
Well, I'm sure. I don't know did you watch the interview I did with the kid who calls himself the Giant? He claims to be the biggest tallest IFBB pro.
He can have that title. I don't want to be tall as an IFBB
he's not.
pro.
I think you're taller than him. At 6'5". He's almost 6'5".
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
you might have to shut him down.
Lou Ferrigno is taller than me. You know what I mean? There's quite a few
but Lou
people
doesn't
out there
compete. But Lou doesn't compete anymore. So we're talking about currently competing.
Oh yeah, current. Yeah. I never seen the guy or heard of him. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You better watch our interviews on the site. You usually catch them all. Go watch it. It's the interview with the Giant. You might have to have a pose down against this guy to lay stake to the tall. Who's the tallest competitor in the classic division or in the bodybuilding. He's a bodybuilder, I think. Anyway,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
All right. All right, you know what, Sean, Chris and I have to go to sleep. I know you'd like to stay up all night talking with us on the radio.
I'm ready to get off this motherfucker too. My eyes heavy. Anyway. But thanks for having me. And Chris, my man, it was a pleasure speaking to you.
Hey,
keep up the great work.
Sean.
Like I said, you're number one. There's not too many people out there. I know you got Chad, you got all your competitors out there. But like I said, you've been doing it for years. Your hard work has paid off.
I hope
Dave
you
is a
don't scare
close
off my
second. I'll
black
give Dave a close
clientele,
second as the top coaches out there.
Yeah, he's,
All right.
thanks, Sean, man.
But Chris is the man.
We love
but again, guys, you guys have a great night.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Just keep pushing the envelope with whatever you guys are doing. You're doing a great job.
All right.
There's no one online that brings more coverage. And I'm out of here, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye. All right. Chris, I hung up on him. I couldn't get him off the phone.
The gift of gab, right?
Holy mackerel! Yeah, Sean's scared away all your black clients now. You have no athletes left after the show. They're all going to leave you now because they think you're not getting them as hard as the white guys.
Well, he was using Jose Raymond as a litmus test.
Don't believe me. You will be getting a call from him at the beginning of the year to start working with him. You can guarantee that. He set you up, like you said.
Well, it's in his bloodstream, right?
Yeah.
Bodybuilding's in his bloodstream.
He set you up. He
was setting me up, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course. He set you up. Now you have to work with him.
I told you, it's like a rope-a-dope.
And the funny thing is, he'll never pay you in a million years, though, too. So he'll just want you to work a pro bono on his case because he's such a great personality.
Good publicity.
I love him, though. He's the greatest. I could talk to Sean for hours because he's just so real.
Keep going.
Yeah. You can't get a word in. All right, we had a very long show today. You guys will probably love it. Thanks to Big Sean Allen talking to us at like 12 midnight to 1 in the morning. And, that's how it goes. You never know who you're going to hear on Heavy Muscle Radio. Just when you thought we don't have guests, now we had a guest. So there you go. You can't complain. People always like sending me suggestions every week, and sometimes I listen to them. A lot of times I listen to the suggestions of the people who listen because they usually have better ideas than I do sometimes.
Well, they'll want guests now. People are going to have to call in.
Yeah, they don't want guests, right. But there's not that many people that can call you 12 at midnight, so
That's right.
Big Sean Allen.
You can only get people in California where it's still like 9 p.m.
That's right. Well, Chris, it's a great show once again, and we're inching in every week closer to the Nationals, and I'm expecting a huge one. Obviously, we confirmed with Dubai, so I will be in Dubai on the 7th and 8th of December for the Dubai Muscle Show. Jay Cutler will be there. Kai Green will be there. All the biggest names in the bodybuilding world. And I will actually be interviewing those names up on the main stage in the expo there. We'll be taping it for RxMuscle, so you guys who maybe are not there will get a chance to hear what I had to say with these people up on that stage. So that's going to be exciting. Also, I have one of my clients who actually, his office is like right next door to the where the expo is being held, next to the World Trade Center there in Dubai. So I'll probably be getting a tour of the city, so that'll be good. We'll have a lot of great content from that as well. And I'm going to be going there with Sid at the end of at the beginning of December. I also booked, I didn't tell you this because I booked my surgery to get my other shoulder replaced. I went to I drove up to Tampa. I saw the doctor. Yeah, this December 17th, I'll be doing that. I figured, you know what, there's nothing going on at the end of December. It's the holidays, and the bodybuilding world is kind of shut down. That's a perfect downtime for me to try to get the shoulder done. And the first week or 10 days is the worst part. Then it's kind of like it's just a pain in the ass. I can't use the arm. They don't want me using it, but I'm not really in any pain, so I should be able back to normal. So I figured let me get it done at the end of the year. Hopefully I can get it in before. The whole idea was we burned through my deductible for my health insurance. I figured, well, let me get the surgery done. Now I don't have to pay anything, But I really wanted to get it done. Once I get this done, it's going to be like I have 2 new shoulders. It's going to be great. It's like every year I have another surgery. Then the next year I can worry about trying to get my quad fixed.
Well, then you can carry 2 kids at once.
Yeah, anyone out there who knows anyone who's like a super talented orthopedic surgeon who has like unique ideas and thinks outside the box and fix my quad, I'm open to any suggestions at this point. There's always someone out there who knows someone, so I'm putting it out to the universe. Maybe I'll attract the right surgeon to me myself, or at least get some ideas on how these guys can fix it. Because what happens is my quad just keeps re-rupturing. I don't know why. Doing nothing, it just lets go. Like these tendon grafts just don't. I don't know if my body's rejecting them or what, but it sucks. But anyway, I'm focusing on my shoulder first, and so I'll get that done at the end of the year, and then I'll be feeling great for you to come down New Year's Eve. Can you believe? Doesn't it feel like you just came down for New Year's Eve?
It's insane.
And it's going to be here before we know it. So, guys, that's going to be it. Until next week, remember, with Heavy Muscle Radio,
The truth hurts.
good night, everyone.